Okay, hello everybody. Well, it's Luke Hodge and welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video. This video is going to be on how to install footwell lights in the Peugeot 208. I'm doing it on my active model. It's a 2014 1.2. Not like that has much of a difference with this installation though, but I'll just tell you what I got. This installation will only really be based on people that have actives, the lower trim models. I've done a few little modification on mine. I've got a leather steering wheel. I've got some rear lights from the Mark II 208 that are a little bit nicer. But the one thing this doesn't have the floorwell lights. So this video is going to show you how to install them, where the wires are, and how to get them running. So let me show you. So we're starting on the driver's side first. And basically you need to get this cover off. Now this might scare some people, and it did scare me the first time that I tried to get this off, but it's actually not that scary. But these clips are really hard. I started in this corner and then started prying down and getting these corners. I've got the Haynes manual. Now I don't think it said how to take that panel off, but when you look at the picture, it's got all those little holes there where clips are. And that's where you need to pull to get this off. Now I've already done it, as it's just fell off because it's not clipped in, and basically these are the areas that you need to remove to get this cover off. Now as you can see, I've already done this. This is the wire that you need that will plug in to your floorwell light bulb housing or holder, even light bulb holder. It's the same as the boot. I went to the scrapyard. I got two of these from a Peugeot 206, one from a 206 and one from a Citroen Picasso, and they're fine. I put LEDs into them, but basically where you need to find this wire on the driver's side, I found mine taped to this wire right here in this location. So this is in the very corner. It's on this wire tape, and it was taped here to this wire, clear in view. So basically it's got masking tape. Just unravel it and it will come off, and then just drag it down to the bottom. Like I said, other than taking this off, when you've got this off, I recommend taking this little bit of trim off that sits underneath the pedals. It's a lot easier to get your hands around and unravel that tape to then give you access to this wire. And basically all you need to do then is plug the unit in and just shove it in place. Back connector towards the door of the car, and then slot in like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to plug the first lot straight away. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this light unit back out and have the wire just hanging there. It's not going to come back or anything. It seems to be very loose and not going to fall into the dash. And I'm going to do the passenger side and locate the wire first for that, and then plug this one in when I found the passenger side cable. But basically all you need to do is just plug that in, and then you'll have the driver's side running, and just put the covers back together in reverse of removal. Other than that, that's how to do the driver's side. So let's move on to the passengers. Side. Now before I say anything else, you'll have to excuse me for the sun, so the image might go a little bit funny in some bits, but basically the first step you need to do is open the glove box and remove the fuse box cover. Now this is very easy to remove. You just put your hand there and tug sharply down on it like that, and it just removes like that. And then you have the access to also the OBD2 port, if you didn't know where that was, and the fuses for the car. And what you need to do when you take this cover off is you need to remove these two torque screws off. Now you don't need all these tools that I've got, or you know, this much, so don't be alarmed. But basically what you need is, if I'm correct on how to say this, is you need a T20 Torx bit to remove these two screws. And if I get myself correctly, after you've done that, it should literally just fall out. So I'll follow you guys along in a moment. I'm just going to get this stuff out and remove these screws, and I'll be back to you. Yes, on a quick note, to make life a little bit easier when you do this as well, you actually need to remove this little trim bit down here. Just remove these 3 clips and it comes out. This is where you actually insert your light as well. I've already slotted it in, and basically when you move the glove box you need to feed the wire down here underneath to then plug this in. But yeah, you need to remove this before actually you do the glove box. But I'll be back when I've actually got the screws out, and then I'll show you everyone. So I've basically now removed these 2 screws. There's one here and there's one there, and they're both Torx. But though, instead of using a screwdriver, I recommend using like one of these little spanners with a little adaptation on it. If I can get it in, that'll be great. Come on. There we go. Sorry, trying to do this all one-handed. Basically because the problem with the screwdriver is it's just too long for this area. It was all right here, but you couldn't get it in there, because at least this one's an angle versus this one's directly like that, and you just can't get to it. But all the screws are removed on the top here, but though the Haynes manual that I've got, it shows you how to remove all the panels. As you can see, that's a little carpet bit we removed, and the lower trim panel. Remove glove box cover that we've done, because if I open that up, that's gone. That's the fuse box cover. Undo the 2 screws, and then it says unclip the cover from inside. Now, I don't know why, but that just doesn't quite make sense, and I'll tell you why. Because everywhere you look, I do not see, for the life of me, a cover to remove. Only if it means the bottom ones that we just removed. But it just doesn't quite make sense, because even when you can't see this because it's dark, well, actually, yes you can. This is it. But though, there's 2 screws, the same Torx size, there, and only if they're a bit confused if that's what they mean. And when I look at the glove box design, I think these 2 screws actually need to come out. So I'm going to remove them for the safety part of this, because obviously you don't want to break anything. And when I've removed those screws, we'll basically pull on it, because basically when you go on to the next page, it basically shows oh no, that's how to remove the whole thing, including the ECU thing, this little adapter here, because when you pull this off, that's basically the plugs you need to remove from the back. There you go, there. Yeah, undo the upper retaining screws. So I'm going to remove them. As you can see in the little picture, it's got those little clips like that, like the driver's side has. So I'm pretty sure that's what they are. Because I've removed the top screws and it's definitely not loose in any way. Even the bottom ones haven't been undone yet. But yeah, I'm going to do that and then we'll be back in business. You need to just tug on it really hard. It comes away, and the location, and you do that. That's my helper's finger right there. You do have to tug on it very hard. Believe me, you ain't going to break it, but it is just hard. And the cable there, that's the cable you want. It's raveled intake. Undo that and then just feed it down the bottom and you'll be fine. So I'm going to do it's day 2. Unfortunately, I was doing it in the afternoon and I was having dinner, and by the time I got back to finish this off, it was completely dark. So this is day 2 in the morning. Basically, we've got everything we need. I took unplugged the glove box in the end. It's actually really easy to do, as long as you're not going to be turning the ignition on with the key. Then you're perfectly fine to unplug all of this. The ECU, the OBD2 port, literally just unclips. This is facing towards the top. If you just put a screwdriver and push on the top of that, it just plops off. And the airbag one is just unclips. You kind of get the idea of it, and then it's out of your way. But if I knew that last time, I probably would have done that. And like I said, here's the connector. It was taped up there, but like I said though, it's unfortunately too short. Even it is for this, and it will work, except if I can get it there, it's wrapped with furthermore tape at the top. But like I said, after we move that bit, I'd imagine it'll reach the bottom where it needs to be, as it's as you can see, not that far off. Other than that, that is the plug you need. So after you've unravelled enough tape, or at least brought it down enough so it at least reaches to the bottom of the glove box, because the if I get the piece of trim from the back, it doesn't need to be right in the corner where you need to stretch it. It's kind of in the middle. If I bring it here and show you up and put it in place, so that's the light unit there. So if I put this up here, it literally just comes right there on the top there. So right in the corner you can see the little white thing that I'm trying to get my finger in front of. That little bit there, yeah, hopefully you can see that bit there. It just needs to kind of come in the middle here. So when you drag that down there, hopefully that bit will tape, it'll just be enough to reach, and then you'll be all set. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll move on to the next step of plugging them in and putting the dash back together and plug them in, and that'll be that. Underneath the dash, and if you're having any problems trying to unwrap tape, sometimes it has one of these clips. It basically holds it onto, like, if I can get my phone behind the dash without damaging it, sometimes they're hooked around here. So for example, I need to get the tape off this one, and this basically, like these things, that's basically one of these is basically that. It just holds onto the trim. So if you're having problems getting any of them off, just get a screwdriver or like a pry tool and just knock them off, and then you'll be able to access the loom. If you're having problems getting access to anything, and that's also for some people where this wire might be hidden. It might be hidden a bit more behind the air circulation thing here, because like I said, you got one here. So if this isn't hanging like here right in front of you, it might be tucked behind there. So just a bit of a heads up if any of you are still struggling to find this and you're still watching, but it might also be hidden there. But I'm going to try and get this clip off and then unwrap this tape, and then I'll be back. Ladies and gentlemen, after a load of faffing around, basically the cables kind of like taped together like that, and then plopped up, tied up at the top there, kind of looped together. After you've managed to untuck it, you basically got the full length then. But obviously then you can route it through, or put it whatever direction you want it to go down. I think I'm going to bring it behind the back and then drop it down, but whichever way you want to go, like from the bottom or from the top, it's up to you. But after you've got the full length like I have, you're pretty much all set to put it back together and plug them in. But yeah, I'm well chuffed with that. So I'm going to now hurry up because daylight is now slowly disappearing, because I've had other stuff going on at the same time of doing this. And I'll get back to you when it's kind of partly together. So I've now I'll show you what I've done. So I've now routed the cable down here, going down there, and I've cable tied the wire to the fan unit so it can't get snagged on and pulled. Plus I've got a cable tie there so it doesn't pull on the wire thing, because it kind of comes out with the shaving. So to give it a bit of support, I put a cable tie around and one here, so it stops that going down. So the wire is now presented where it needs to be. And now the airbag wire and the OBD2 is now being pulled back out of the dash because I took them away, and now we just need to put the glove box back in, put that little panel in with the light, and well, thank God, we're done. So I've now put all the panels back together and plugged the lights in and closed all the doors. So now, technically speaking, the lights are on inside, or it's on the door mode. So now, if I unlock that, yes, the interior light is on, so that means that these should be, oh yeah, I can see them already. Yep, they're on. Just check the passenger side as well. Oh yeah, you can see the glow already. Yeah, there you go. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a straightforward install. Oh yeah, you can see them glowing now. I put some cheap LEDs in these ones. Admittedly, it's not dark, as in yet, so you don't see the full brightness of them when it's dark, but basically though, that is that's it. So that's how to install footwell lights. It definitely takes a lot more time than I thought it was going to do. Like I said, the wires can be tucked away fairly well. The driver's side one is definitely the easiest to get hooked up though, and sort of the passenger side, well, it has its times. It is well tucked away and things you need to unravel and such. But hopefully, though, you guys will be able to install this and you shouldn't have a problem. But other than that, though, like I said, this is pretty much it, though. They're in, as you can tell, because of the LEDs almost having kind of like a bluey effect, and you can see the light on both sides. But yeah, though, that is pretty much it. So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks very much. Cheers.